When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like Aloe or Allbirds, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and great marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. Nobody does online business better than Shopify. It's home of Shop Pay, the #1 checkout in the world. You can use it to boost conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going through to checkout. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/income, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/income to upgrade your selling today. That's shopify.com/income.
This is The Planted Runner. I'm Coach Claire Bartholic. Have you ever wondered to yourself, should I really be stretching more? I mean, we see other runners doing all sorts of silly looking stretches before a run, and we've all felt tight muscles that we know would benefit if we just stretched them more regularly, right? Actually, probably not. Stretching with the aim to increase flexibility or to relieve tight muscles is more often than not a waste of time at best and counterproductive for runners at worst. Mobility work, on the other hand, could be exactly what you're looking for to improve form and performance and make running feel better. So what's the difference and how do you do it? Let's find out. Welcome to The Planted Runner. I'm Coach Claire Bartholic, and my mission is to help you improve your running, your mindset, and your life with science-backed training and plant-based nutrition. Today, I'm going to get into the benefits of mobility work for runners. You'll learn the difference between mobility and flexibility, some simple exercises for both that you can do today, and why stretching can be a waste of time for runners, and why it's the wrong choice for tight muscles. Now, I know that some of you will listen to this and be really motivated to start incorporating mobility work into your schedule right away. But then, as usual, life gets in the way and you've forgotten all about it, or you just don't have that sense of accountability to get it done. You know what that means? It means that you are the perfect candidate for the PR team. Not only will you get a custom running schedule created by me, but it will include all your strength, mobility, and more. No more decision fatigue on what you should do today. It's all laid out for you perfectly in the app. And you'll be joining a team of runners just like you, all ages and paces, who are doing the same thing and cheering each other on. It really is the best way to stay accountable and true to your goals while also getting a built-in group of new running buddies. I'll talk more about the team later on in the show, but if you're ready to learn more right now, head to theplantedrunner.com/group. Don't forget to stay tuned all the way to the end of the episode for this week's Mental Strength Minute. Fortify your mind in 60 seconds or less. Let's begin with some definitions so we're all on the same page. What is mobility? Well, in the simplest terms, it's the ability to move. So obviously everyone who runs has the goal of being more mobile, but we're looking for a little more than that when we run. Mobility is the capacity to actively move through a joint through a normal range of motion with efficiency and strength. Flexibility, on the other hand, is the ability to passively move a joint through a wide range of motion. Flexibility also involves the muscles. You can have great mobility in your hips, for example, but if your hamstring muscles aren't flexible, you'll never touch your toes. When we use the term stretching, we are talking about literally lengthening a muscle with the goal of becoming more flexible, like stretching a rubber band. To be a better runner, you don't have to be very flexible in most areas. In fact, distance runners are known for being quite inflexible. Eliud Kipchoge, one of the fastest marathoners on earth, reportedly can't forward fold and touch his toes. Clearly, being flexible through the hamstrings is not an issue for him. So if you've ever noticed runners warming up by statically holding a long stretch, or maybe you've done this yourself, there are some good arguments that you might not be doing yourself any good. In fact, science is showing us that being too flexible might actually hinder your running. The theory is like a tightly coiled spring, less flexible hamstrings provide more energy return when you hit the ground, giving you a literal spring in your step. But there are 4 areas of the body that it does pay off to be flexible for runners, or in other words, have a wide range of motion. And even better, if you can move through that wide range of motion with efficiency and strength or good mobility. Can you guess which 4 spots I'm talking about? I'll get into them a little bit later. To improve mobility, you want to use dynamic movements through your range of motion, only lasting a couple of seconds at a time. A classic example of a mobility move for runners is the leg swing. This is perfect for a warm-up because dynamic movements can be done on cold muscles. To improve flexibility, we want to hold a stretch for a longer period of time, which is commonly called a static stretch. I'll use the example of the hamstrings or the muscles in the back of your thighs. There are several ways to stretch the hamstrings, and the simplest one is just to bend over and reach for your toes. If you are very flexible, this might feel easy and good. But if you're not very flexible, or if you're sore, or if you go beyond your natural range of motion, this might feel very uncomfortable and cause pain. The reason this happens is that when you hold a stretch too far, too fast, or for longer than a couple of seconds, your body starts to protect itself from pulling or tearing the muscle. A natural reflex called the myotactic reflex will kick in, trying to force you to pull out of the stretch. This happens automatically and ballistically, and it can cause more harm than good. This means if you stretch statically before a run on cold muscles, not only can you cause muscle damage, studies have shown that you can actually decrease your performance on that run. Not a great idea. What's a better idea for mobility? Active isolated stretching. With active isolated stretching, which is a form of dynamic stretching, you release the stretch before the myotactic reflex has a chance to activate, and you only move through your natural range of motion, not going beyond it. So in theory, you could stretch on cold muscles before a run. But AIS is pretty relaxing, so you might want to save it for the end or even another part of the day. Your main goal with AIS is to work on your mobility, but as a side effect, you will get more flexible as well. Using this technique, by the time you finish each set, the muscles start to show a greater range of motion, and you should be able to reach a little further on the last repeat, all without causing damage or pain. The other feature to AIS is that you're not just using the muscles you are trying to stretch. You enlist the opposing muscle group to bring you into the stretch, while allowing the muscle you want to stretch to take a break and relax. A relaxed muscle is more easily stretched than a contracted muscle. So if you want to stretch your hamstrings with AIS, you'd lie on your back and lift your leg using the opposing muscle on the front of your legs called the quadriceps. When you use your quads, your hamstrings naturally relax, making them more susceptible to stretching. You stretch the hamstring by lightly pulling the leg back to the point of tightness, never pain, for 2 seconds, and then you release using your quad to lower the leg instead of just dropping it to the floor. Then you would repeat this 8 to 10 times before switching legs. For many of the stretches done with AIS, a long rope about 6 to 8 feet is used to assist you to get those last few degrees of motion. For the hamstring, you would put the middle of the rope on the arch of your foot and hold each end in your hands. You lift the leg as far as it naturally goes, only using your quads, not the rope. And when you reach the point where you feel a little tight, you use the rope to help you reach just a touch farther. This allows you to reach your full range of motion without having to use a partner because, let's face it, nobody's spouse really wants to help you lift your legs up every day, right? I've used the hamstring here as an example, but just about every muscle in the body can be stretched using this technique. At this point, you're probably wondering, but Coach Claire, what about the 4 places runners need flexibility? Are you going to get to those? Yep, right after this short break. I want to tell you about a unique opportunity for you to get stronger, faster, and stay motivated to hit your running and nutrition goals this year. And that is to join the PR team. Each member of the team gets a custom training plan made by me for you based on your unique fitness goals and lifestyle. Everything you need to achieve your running dreams is included, such as strength training, recovery, and even cross-training if you want it. I include weekly mental strength training as well as training tips and nutrition guides. But here's where it gets really cool. The group has its own page in the app where we share workouts, ask training questions, and get feedback from me and the other teammates. And each week, I create an exclusive private podcast just for the team based on the questions I get and what I see in their training each week. And I usually end up sharing behind the scenes and exclusive sneak peeks with the team that I don't share anywhere else. So instead of joining a Facebook group or sitting through another Zoom call, you get to listen to tailored advice on the run, and you don't have to do this all alone. When you're ready to take your running to the next level and join an amazing team of runners, head to theplantedrunner.com/group and join us today. It's more affordable than you think, and I can't wait to have you. Welcome back to The Planted Runner. I'm Coach Claire Bartholic. Have you guessed the 4 places runners need to be flexible yet? Let's see if you're right. The first one is probably pretty obvious if you've been running for any length of time. The other 3 maybe are a bit of a surprise. So I'll start off with the easy one, and that is the hips. I've already mentioned that being flexible in your hip hinge or bending forward towards your toes isn't particularly useful for running, so that's not the part that I'm talking about. I'm talking about hip extension. Most runners complain that their hips are too tight. They can't get their hips to open up wide and lengthen their stride, or their hips are weak, which causes excessive stress lower down the leg, which can lead to knee or IT band issues. When you break it down, there's only 2 ways to be a faster runner. It's either taking more steps or taking longer steps. If your hips are so inflexible that your stride can't lengthen out through its full range of motion, you're limiting your speed. And if your hips don't have enough mobility to move through that range of motion with strength and efficiency, they will quickly get tired. At that point, your brain will be forced to use the weaker muscles in your lower legs to get you down the road, leading to all sorts of disastrous problems for your calves, quads, knees, and hamstrings. To improve flexibility in your hips, you can use static stretching after you're fully warmed up or after a run. The classic runner stretch, where you open up your hips in an exaggerated lunge, is great for this, as well as the yoga pose pigeon. But remember, a little goes a long way. To improve mobility as well as flexibility in the hips, there are a lot of great exercises to try. Lunges in all directions, squats, high knees, step-ups, clamshells, all good choices. The second place a runner needs to be flexible is the ankle. Think about the position your foot is in when it hits the ground. Unless you're a ballerina, your foot will be in the flexed position when it lands. The ability to land on a flexed foot and push off with a pointed foot makes a big impact on how much ground you'll cover with each stride. And the joint where the action all happens is the ankle. If you have limited flexibility or mobility in the ankle, your capacity to push off the ground and propel yourself forward will be limited. So it pays to have strong, flexible ankles. My favorite ankle exercises include a wobble board. If you've never seen one, it's a circle of wood with a center dome on the bottom. You can use it to improve your balance as well as your ankle mobility by practicing flexing and pointing to the front, sides, and back of the board. You can also work your ankles just about any time you're sitting down. Work your ankles in all directions by holding your point and your flex several seconds until you feel a good stretch. Where is the third place that a runner needs to be flexible? This one might be a little trickier. The answer is a thoracic spine. Okay, I know that maybe was a hard one, and if you said shoulders, I'll give that to you. Technically, it's the area between the shoulder blades. Ever watched the end of a marathon? When people are so exhausted that they're running hunched over with their shoulders up to their ears or just shuffling along? If you have limited T-spine mobility, your shoulders will tend to roll forward. Your back begins to hunch, and your head will turn into a bowling ball as it extends away from your center of gravity. This happens because you're tired, but this position itself compounds your fatigue since it's so inefficient. The other part of good mobility in the T-spine will give you a more efficient arm swing. What your arms do, your legs do. So being able to use your arms well with very little effort will make running easier. When you run, the arms swing backwards, causing a rotation to occur in the thoracic spine. Meanwhile, the same side leg swings forward. The twist of the spine helps to load the core, which is a good thing. But if the thoracic spine is inflexible, the low back takes the load, and that leads to pain and injury. Some good exercises to try are the yoga moves cat and cow. Start on all fours on the floor and alternate between rounding your back while looking down and arching your back while looking up. Another good one is rolling on a foam roller, allowing your shoulders to drape off the roller and stretch. Have you guessed number 4 yet? It's a little one with a big impact, and it's the big toe. The big toe acts like a lever and a powerful push-off. If you have limited mobility in the big toe joint, you will be missing out on significant propulsion forces with every step. Big toe exercises are simple and can be done just about any time you think about it. Simply raising up on your tippy toes while you are standing barefoot is all you need. You can also do it sitting down at your desk. If you want to work from your knees, you can sit on your heels and alternate flexing and pointing your toes. This one is a double benefit because you could be working your ankles as well. And if you clasp your hands behind your back, you're hitting that thoracic spine at the same time. 3 for 1. Did you guess all 4 of the places runners need to be flexible? If not, you can now amaze all your running friends by giving them the same quiz and see how many they get right. And finally, I want to talk about stretching your muscles because they feel tight. You have my permission now to stop ever doing that again. In athletes, and yes, you are an athlete if you exercise on purpose, we often get the sensation of tightness in our legs the day after a run or a hard strength session. This has nothing to do with the flexibility of your muscles, which is why stretching will not help. This is muscle soreness, plain and simple. Your body has a limited vocabulary, and it uses the sensation of tightness to try to prevent you from using the muscle in its full range of motion until it has healed. You have not shortened the muscle, so stretching isn't the solution. A better solution for delayed onset muscle soreness, or DOMS, is heat from a hot tub, a hot bath, or a heating pad, along with gentle movement such as AIS, walking, or even a slow, easy run. I've gone into a lot of detail about mobility and stretching today, but that doesn't mean you need to invest a huge amount of time into adding this into your running life. A few minutes before a run and a few minutes after your cool down is all it takes. Your running will thank you. And now it's time for this week's Mental Strength Minute. Fortify your mind in 60 seconds or less. Today's topic is This is What You Came For. I recently had an athlete say to me that she just wanted to feel good the last 10K of the marathon. I told her there are ways to train for that, but if she wanted to get the best out of her racing, she's missing the point. The struggle at the end of the race is what you came for. If you feel great at the end of the race, you're not racing. There's nothing wrong with running an event at your happy pace, but that's not racing. Discovering what it takes to truly race your best means the end of the race is hard fought, difficult, and challenging. Overcoming this struggle is why we do it. Remember, when you were in the pain cave near the finish, if racing were easy, everyone would do it, and it wouldn't be nearly as compelling. Thank you for listening to The Planted Runner, part of the Evergreen Podcast Network. Don't forget that you can enter to win a free custom training plan for your next race and get featured on the show. Just write an Apple Podcast review and enter at theplantedrunner.com/PRLab. Of course, reviews are the #1 way to boost this show's reach, and it's a great way to tell me what you'd like to hear next because I read every single one. Have a great run today.